As Prime Minister, I strive to lead a government of purpose and a government of unity. I have always been and continue to be crystal clear about the values that drive this Labor government. We are the only political party prepared to face up to modern challenges and to shape a future that will deliver for all. We are the only political party capable of strengthening our economy and managing it in the interests of working people. We are the only political party dedicated to opportunity for all, not just a few, particularly the opportunity for every Australian child to get a world-class education. This sense of purpose and these values are what drives me and what drives the government. And even in the last fortnight, those values and this sense of purpose was on display when we saw the best monthly job creation figures in 13 years, when we created a new and fairer deal for childcare workers, when we passed into law Disability Care Australia, the most important institution created in our nation since the creation of Medicare. But while purpose has driven us on, unity has eluded us, and that unity spectacularly eluded us last week. Like Australians around the nation, I was appalled by the events of last week. My political party, the Labor Party that I love very dearly, was self-indulgent. Our eyes were on ourselves rather than doing what we should, being focused on the nation. It was an unseemly display. But out of that has come clarity. It is now very clear indeed that I have the confidence of my colleagues to lead the Labor Party and to remain as Prime Minister. It is also clear that Kevin Rudd has appropriately acknowledged he will never lead the Labor Party again. In these circumstances, the leadership contest that has been within Labor is over. So today, as a government, we can be united and with a sense of purpose, a government of purpose and a government of unity. In the months ahead, I am determined that we will show to the Australian people self-belief, not self-indulgence, to show them that we have always got our eyes on them and their needs, not our eyes on ourselves. My challenge, our challenge, is to get up every day determined to do better that day for the Australian people than we have done the day before. In a world where our future is not assured, there's nothing automatic about a strong and prosperous future for our nation. In a world where our future is not assured, we must get up every day determined to make the right decisions to shape a strong, smart, fair future for our nation. To get up every day to make sure we are meeting the needs of families under all of the pressures of modern life. And as a political party too, we must get up every day determined to win the only political contest in Australian life that matters, and that is the contest between the government and the opposition come the 14th of September. That contest is about whether or not on the 15th of September I will lead a majority Labor government or Mr Abbott will lead a Liberal government focused on taking money out of the hands of Australian families, cutting jobs and cutting services. Today I announce the team of ministers and parliamentary secretaries I have selected to get on with the job of governing in the interests of all and to lead our campaign for Australia's future. I will be today recommending a range of ministerial appointments to the Governor-General. First, Minister Anthony Albanese is being promoted and will take on the critical role of Minister for Regional Development and Local Government, taking over the work done by Minister Crean across regional Australia since the 2010 election. Minister Albanese will add these responsibilities to his current portfolios of infrastructure and transport. These portfolios complement each other. He will be supported by Catherine King in the Outer Ministry as Minister for Regional Services, Local Communities and Territories, and as Minister for Road Safety. As the member for Ballarat, she is one of our strongest voices in regional Australia, and she will build on the excellent work she has done as a parliamentary secretary. Tony Burke adds arts to his existing portfolio. He has a long-standing interest in the arts and is a very keen recruit to this task. He will be assisted by Michael Danby as his parliamentary secretary, whose lifelong commitment to the arts started when, as a teenager, he worked in his mother's art gallery. The critical human capital and productivity portfolio of Minister for Tertiary Education, Skills, Science and Research will be taken by Dr Craig Emerson. Craig will retain his current roles as Minister for Trade and Competitiveness and Minister assisting the Prime Minister on Asian Century policy. I believe this combination has great synergies in our Asian Century agenda. That means, of course, that we are seeking to secure for our country all of the economic opportunities that can flow from this century of change in our region. Dr Emerson will bring personal passion and credibility to this role. Craig will be assisted by two junior ministers, Don Farrell as Minister for Science and Research and Sharon Bird as Minister for Higher Education and Skills. They are both proven parliamentary secretaries and are ready to take on these new responsibilities. As part of today's changes, the Department of Climate Change will be merged with the Industry Department and will become the Department of Industry, Innovation, Climate Change, Science, Research and Tertiary Education. As such, Greg Combay is now the Minister for Climate Change, Industry and Innovation, and his Parliamentary Secretary, Yvette Darth, will also have a revised title. Gary Gray joins the Cabinet as Minister for Resources and Energy, Minister for Tourism and Minister for Small Business. He brings personal knowledge and experience to the role, as of course he is a former senior resources sector executive. He has been a tireless advocate for the business in his own community and across the state of Western Australia, and he will bring that sense of purpose to promoting the interests of the tourism sector and small business. Energy policy is, of course, no longer just about supply. As we move to a cleaner and more productive economy, energy efficiency is central to energy policy, and it will be central to the work undertaken by Gary Gray's department, the department known as DRET. Gary will be assisted in tourism by Don Farrell and in small business by Parliamentary Secretary Bernie Ripoll. His current roles as Special Minister of State and Minister for the Public Service and Integrity will be taken by the Attorney-General Mark Dreyfus. Jason Clare joins Cabinet as a full member while retaining his current responsibilities. Jan McLucas is appointed as Minister for Human Services. Jan is a very experienced parliamentarian, having served as a Shadow Minister and Parliamentary Secretary since 2007, and I'm delighted that I've been able to promote her to this role. Further Parliamentary Secretary appointments are as follows. Andrew Lee will be Parliamentary Secretary to the Prime Minister, to me. Andrew will bring to this position his distinguished academic record in public policy and economics. Matt Thistlethwaite will become Parliamentary Secretary for Pacific Island Affairs and Parliamentary Secretary for Multicultural Affairs. Matt strengthens our team with his ability to focus on the large multicultural communities in Sydney. Obviously, the lead minister, Mr O'Connor, is Melbourne-based. Amanda Rishworth, a great local campaigner, becomes Parliamentary Secretary for Sustainability and Urban Water, retaining that portfolio in my original state of South Australia, where I think it belongs. She will also be Parliamentary Secretary for Disabilities and Carers. Shane Newman, MP, who before his parliamentary career ran a successful law firm, will be Parliamentary Secretary to the Attorney-General and Parliamentary Secretary for Health and Ageing.